Well, there you have it. We may want the 5 games. Legacy don't want any of that. They want this done as fast as possible. Jew's Order obviously off to a good start with the draft, but Legacy were here to play.
Yeah, look, I think Order's draft suited them. That's a very specific Order composition. Only's been putting a lot of time in on the Hecarim as well in solo queue. So, when I first saw it and I saw the mobile champions that were on the side of Legacy, I thought they might have some troubles, especially because that Caitlyn Morgana lane is so potent and they were meant to be able to get some leads and generate a kind of an income through their bot lane. But, the split map, the level 1 invade was really heads up, really smart from Legacy, and they kind of just rode that wave of momentum where they got the kill onto Rare real early, and it kind of almost just choked up their whole bot lane. Like, Ayla started, underperforming, if you will, like to his standards. But the one player that really stood out for me was Isles. He had an absolute blinder. That guy was just like magnets on every ability that he had, and it was just an absolute statement game from him, because I don't think anyone from Legacy kind of played extremely well. I think it was a very good team performance, but I think Isles played magnificently.
Yeah, I think that when you have a look at the game plan that Legacy had, they knew that Order were going to play a long-range comp. You can't leave Caitlyn up, Morgana up, as well as Azir when it's, I think, Harry's most played champion, and not expect them to be taking that. And I think that that's one of those Game 1 drafts where they've prepared something like pretty specific, and it's worked really well. And it started actually with not just a level 1 invade, and something like Nuance that I want to point out. They took both bottom lanes wards level 1. So they took Ayla's by getting to the brush first, and then they just killed it without a sweeper. Then they took Rares on the approach for the invade, and that means that you're playing split map, and normally split map is harder for top lane because they only have 1 ward. So if the jungler has a sweeper, that 1 ward is gone, and then you have to live in constant fear. Whereas bottom, you should have 2 wards to be able to cycle into that tri-brush, and you should be able to spot the ganks coming a little bit earlier. That obviously wasn't the case because of how well that level 1 did go for Legacy. And then the other thing I will say is this was a game where one team played their draft flawlessly, like Legacy played the long range, like poke, kill, sniping style flawlessly, and Order played their scaling draft terribly. Yeah. Like, they contested third dragon. Like, why do you need to contest third dragon when you're playing Ornn, Azir, Caitlyn, when you're playing against a 3-item AD carry and your AD carry has 1 item? Like, that to me is just like undisciplined and like lacking fundamentals from Order, and they need to really step up if they want to make this series like pretty close.
Well, we've seen it a couple of times already that Order are a team that do tend to appear halfway through a best of 5, and so if they do, then be prepared for that. But Legacy are looking to close this out. I am confident we're going to get 5 tonight. It just feels like a 5 kind of night. It also feels like the kind of night where you can help us out. We've spent an entire year helping you out. We entertain you twice a week for friggin' 25 weeks of the year. How about you help us once? Because a tentacle demon has stolen our treasure chest, and it's filled with awesome prizes. We've got laptops and headsets, and we've got NeoSurf gift vouchers, and we've got in-game merch, we've got League merch. All you need to do is solve the clues that are drip-fed throughout this broadcast. I believe we already saw one during that first game. There are 8 clues to collect. Collect them all, solve the riddle, head to the Discord, discord.gg/UTOPL, and submit your answer in the treasure hunt channel. The winner will get all of this, and they will be announced at the end of this broadcast. There are tons of winners tonight. Legacy and Order are going to be one of those winners. Also, we have winners. Well, look, we tried to have a winner earlier. We tried our hardest to go, you know what? This person's been a long time fan of this show. How about we throw them a bone with a haiku? They couldn't even throw us a bone by giving us a haiku. They gave us a 666, and I don't even know what to call that. Thankfully, some other people can count, and we have some more haikus coming in. Let's go through 4 options.
Do we need to clap these out, like to just make sure?
100%, because I don't trust the broadcast team at all when it comes to counting. Okay, first up, this one is Dylan. D in today. The title of this haiku is Leather Cups. Need a new headset? These leather cups feel quite nice. Ah, you are so right. I think that's...
Are haikus meant to rhyme?
No.
I was going to say, bro, these aren't rhyming.
No, I mean, if they were, this was a massive fail. There's not a single
correct.
word
So can
here.
someone
However,
tell the army a haiku? Tell the army
It's
a haiku?
5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
That's easy.
They nailed this one. They nailed this one.
This is perfect.
You get to win something on the NeoSurf spin to win wheel. I'm going to spin. We're going to see what you win. Right of the microphone. Get that in you. Nice. Oh, something fell off. You get a mystery skin. Congratulations. That was on either side of a Timo hat and a NeoSurf gift voucher. Both of which I'm sure you would have equally.
I was about to say, he really lost out on that one, didn't he?
But
I mean, it depends. Maybe like he owns a lot of skins, and the mystery skin's going to be like Packed Jacks or something. I don't know if that can happen, but maybe.
It can happen if you have all of the skins in the game. Then once you get mystery gifted, it has no choice but to give you those like rare unlockables. So like that is if you want to drop like 10 grand into league skins, then that's one way to get all the rare ones.
There you go. Hopefully this person is a real fan and has done that already. All right, congratulations, DN, today. You get yourself a mystery skin. Winner number 2, Cat today. Oh, wait, this is not the names. Today is literally just when they were submitted, and they've just pasted it in for the Discord. So I think it was just DN, and this person is Cat, because otherwise they all say today, and that would be weird. Okay. Babip, our savior. Babip is his name. Carrying Legacy's games. What a jungle diff.
Ooh.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
It feels.
I like that.
It's a little raw right now for the order fans. Really, just rubbing some salt.
I mean, like honestly, like it should be Isles. Is his
It should
name?
be Isles. It should.
And it should be support diff. If we're really trying to rub salt into the wounds of order fans right now.
And are we do we want to call an audible on this one as well? That they picked the wrong player on Legacy to celebrate?
No, absolutely not. Because I like Leo. He's a good guy.
Let's get a spin in. Is that unbearably loud for the chat? Let me know.
No, we can't hear it.
We can't hear it at all.
No, that's because you got good noise cancelling. The other program does not.
Oh, true.
Oh, it's going backwards.
What?
Oh, so close. The
wow.
Ezreal statue. The Ezreal statue is the win. That was so close to $500. That would have been brutal.
But what is the Ezreal statue might be good, though.
You have won yourself an Ezreal statue, and we only had one of those as well. And so that's it now. No one else can win that. So congratulations, Kat. Great prize. I mean, nearly $500, which would have objectively been much better, but that's fine. Winner number 3. This is Blossom. Watching League is fun. My mum thinks it's me playing. Quote, are you winning, son?
Oh, that's a good one. If it works.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
This
I like
is a
that.
very good one. Is this worth $500?
Yeah, I hope he wins the 500.
Let's give it a spin.
Hey, keep it on a good angle, bro, because your angles are real bad at the moment.
How about I keep it straight upright?
Yeah.
It's hard because I have to hold it, and it's hard to judge where upright is.
Yeah, I think that's about upright. If it ever tilts back, then...
That was a big spin. This one's going to spin for a while, guys. Get comfortable.
Hell of a spin.
I think it's just one of those perpetually spinning things.
Spinning into 2021 right now.
And it speed up.
What?
What is happening? Oh, the other side of the 500! That is insane.
But the Mechs versus Minions game is actually insane.
Explain what that is.
It's a board game that Riot made. And you play like team-based games, and you roll dice, and then you try and take out the mechs, and you're the minion. No, you try and take out the minions, and you're the mechs. You're Yordles. I know.
I know. Even though I know that this... we've only got one of those as well, so congratulations. Even though I know this isn't rigged, this is totally rigged.
Yeah, this feels very...
There's a magnet somewhere.
That is ridiculous.
Why does it speed up when it gets towards the end? I'm literally... I think it's scripted.
Is it physics? Oh, we'll never know. It's probably magnets. Okay, the final one coming in from Shog. Boy who shattered time. He can run it back again with the chrono break.
That's cool. I like that. Echo's a good champion as well.
Echo's a good champion. That's a good poem. Shog, great name as well.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Spit it out.
Shoggy.
At some point, this is going to fling off and hit me in the face.
You actually look like one of those weatherman reporters from the 70s like that. Yeah.
If you look at this patch, there's a big cloud of spinning nightmares coming for you. Oh.
Spun back.
Oh!
Wait, we can't see the ticker. We can't see
It's on Mechs versus Minions again,
It's on Mechs versus Minions again. We can't do that.
But we only have one.
Spin. We've only got one. We go again. We'll give it a
Nick,
short one.
what have you done to this spinner?
I haven't touched anything.
You've broken it, dude.
They
You've
sent it to me
broken the
like
spinner.
this. How dare you?
How dare me? How dare you tamper with the good name of the OPL? Oh, surprise, surprise. Another double up.
No, it's a mystery champion.
This
not
is
a skin,
definitely not
right?
rigged. Oh, it's mystery champion. Sorry.
I think that was
my
a
bad.
mystery champion.
I'm going to spin the wheel just while we chat and make sure that it can actually land on something else.
Was that a mystery champion or skin?
It was a mystery champion.
Yeah, no,
Alright,
that's
so it's
different.
new.
Yeah.
Yours is right.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one's maybe the worst one.
That's so funny. That is so
What
funny.
happens if you don't
There's some-
own a champion? Do you get a champion's... Wow, I just really went into the nether there. Do you get a champion shard?
I'm going to assume yes. I'm not
don't
giving these
know.
kind of details. I'm just giving a wheel that's definitely rigged. All right, let's move on now to just to announce the winners of the next competition that we have. Obviously, all these competitions are running in the Discord. We have the EPOS skin to win, so I'm excited for these because I haven't seen these yet. This is where you guys download a template for the EPOS headset. You skin it OPL themed and then submit it. We've picked 3 winners, I believe. Let's take a look at the first one and critique it harshly, boys. Don't hold back.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's
I actually
a-
rate that.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, I was expecting the same generic print all over, but this guy's really thought about his layers and executed well.
And if you're getting tilted and you feel like you're about to say something that you're going to regret, all you have to do is raise your koalas and it's okay.
There's actually some O's casters with that tattoo as well.
There are a bunch of them. Frosker and Fish. Like, yeah.
Why don't you have one?
I actually am supposed to go get one. I always said that I would get one when we made it out of groups, but I think I'm just going to get one anyway.
Let's go get one
let's-
together.
We should all
Alright.
get one. That would be fun.
But
I
we'll
would
all
love to get one
make
as
sure
well.
we just use the same
Artist?
same
Template.
needle gun.
Oh, same. Okay.
same
That-
needle.
Like, so we can get like blood brothers.
so that we're in it together.
Mm.
Where would you get... If they all have it on their wrist. So
Let's get it
generally
on our
where they get
neck.
it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What about
Oh,
cheek?
Let's get it across here, and it looks like teardrops, and then people will be like, "Wow, what happens on the OPL?"
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
we're hardcore.
Let's announce the second winner. That was fantastic. That was shoe shortage. The second winner of the EPOS skin to win. Ooh, on brand color wise.
Look, I understand where they're going for that. Like, I totally get.
Oh, he's about to flame you so hard,
I
Scarlett.
totally get it. I totally get it. Next,
But?
Jake.
Is there a but?
Like, I think OPL would have been better to put OPL like on the headband thing just
Yep.
for a little more clarity. But I understand, like, the design's good, like the colorway, it's all good. Let's just get some OPL text in there.
Let's just get some OPL text there. You should come along, whoever that was, Scarlett, and get that tattoo with us. The final winner, skin to win, EPOS headset, is Kimmy.
Oh, that's PogChamp.
Yeah, that's Poggers.
That's
That's
PogChamp.
awesome.
Okay. That is
Look at
OPL and
waves.
Yeah.
Utopl wound into one headset.
That is
I know
fantastic.
exactly where I'm going. I'm catching some waves at that island with the palm tree.
I'll tell you what, I'm so into that right now. If EPOS commission that, I feel like Kimmy should get a cut, and we should get a cut because we're a part of it as well. All right. Speaking of getting cut, the players who lose this grand final are definitely going to get cut from their team. So let's jump into game number 2. It's Legacy
That's not
versus
true.
Order. It's the OPL Grand Final. No, it's true. I heard someone say it on Twitch. It's the OPL Grand Final. It's game 2, and it's coming up after the Back is Champ Select.
All right, Rusty, we're back again. We're flying in the sky. We're flying, we're skying, we're doing things that just don't rhyme, Rusty. That was terrible. I tried to be witty like Nick there because he's just a man of magic. But some of the magic we're looking to try and see here is the fact that at Legacy, incredibly terrifying in game number 1 there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Legacy were nuts. They played their composition perfectly, right? They outranged the Order comp. And the one thing that I would have said coming into this one is don't be shocked to see a similar thing again. However, Order, they go for their Caitlyn. Legacy will actually take away the Azir first with that center. So they are going to be changing it a little bit already.
Certainly are, and a big reason why, Rusty, is we've got Halo in the mid lane. A lot of questions swirling around as to what his interaction would be like coming into these playoffs, what we get to see, because he is the more characteristic control mage type that wants to try and match the carry potential that we've seen that Harry can achieve, whereas Tally, in times gone by, showcases that, look, I want to try and play as a supporting role, be it the Galio, the Twisted Fate. So very, very excited to see what Halo brings to the table here today.
And I feel like this is actually a really important topic that we need to broach from the get-go. They brought him in game number 2 after a win. Last time in the finals last year, when Chiefs were playing against Mammoth, Tien was sitting in the wings waiting to be subbed in from Swiper. But what they did is they brought him in game 3 after Order were like 0-2 already. Really difficult, lots of pressure, so hard to actually play to your peak, knowing that everything's on the line and you've just come in as this carry player. Now you compare this to what Halo's been able to do in this game, 1-0 up, he plays the mages, they know that the composition that just worked can still be very evidently effective with him in the roster, so he just needs to slot in and play with the squad that are already clearly playing well. As little pressure as you can possibly put on a player in comparison, and a big deal for Halo right now if he's able to stamp his mark in this series.
Certainly is, because we haven't seen too many games from him during this season. Came in rather late into their squad come Split 2 and was shown a fair few times towards the latter end of that season with a few champions specific to his own in the Orianna and the Cassiopeia, but the standards that really make Legacy in that mid lane with the Galio and the Kamo. He's going to no doubt have the Azir on display here today. We don't know for Tapoon to be any crazy man with it up in the top side of the map, despite him showcasing that he can do weird and wonderful things time gone by. But we are going to see now the second rotation of bans come on through. And this time, no attention has been shown to the top side, so the Renekton is going to be banned away.
Yeah, Renekton going to be removed. Definitely something that was scary when Tapoon was playing it, but that's the thing, a lot of weird adaptations that we're seeing in general, and it could just be, you know, Halo comes in, let's change our draft to what we know works with him. But Gangplank going to be taken off, Camille already gone earlier, you've got the Akali removed, though Swiper isn't necessarily the Akali player. One consideration there is sometimes they'll flip their lanes, and you'll have Hayri play those top lanes if he's got a champion that can do it, but he's on the Orianna. So a lot of good drafting here from Legacy to really ensure they get the lanes they want, the matchups they want, and style their composition accordingly. They're going to pick the Babip's Jarvan here as well, Skimmy. And my question is, do you go Morgana on the other side here again after what Isles was able to do to you? And do you just write it off and say, look, it was a strong level 1 strategy from Legacy. They made it harder than it actually is. Morgana works fine here, which I think is true.
I think it certainly is. We've seen it on multiple fronts as to why it is so strong, so there's no need to really completely change things up. But he is going to now go back to an old favourite of his. He's going to show himself as the Nautilus, his most played for the entirety of this year. 13 games played as this champion. And he knows what he's doing. He wants to be aggressive and going to change things up a little bit this time as opposed to playing a double binding matchup. No, he wants to say that whilst we might get poked out, one hook and it changes everything.
Wondering if it's a Scion as well for Swiper as that gets locked in at the exact same moment. Not touched through the pick ban phase usually means that Swiper is going to lock this one in. However, let's take a second to note his opponent in this game. If there's ever a player that can deal with a Scion, play a Kayle, play whatever you like, and scale and win your 1v1, you would often say that is Tapoon. The composition of Legacy could do with a little bit more engage if they wanted to, but they could also play a 4v4 style of League of Legends and just have a really strong top laner in his own right. And this to me is a perfect middle ground champion for Tapoon. Picks up the Aatrox, handles laning phase, scales very well, team fights very well if he gets ahead as well, and should be designed to do so. And so they pick the composition very nicely here on the side of Legacy. Similar to Game 1 with a couple of changes.
Certainly is going to be similar. We've yet to see the Jarvan in such a long time. Such a prominent pick in Split 1 especially, but it's been a big time since we've last seen it. AP junglers, as we mentioned during Game 1, have really dominated the meta, and with no Nidalee being available, only has shown that, well, if Lily is there for the taking, then why not? It's going to be his first game on that champion as well, so we get to see what he can do with this one. But there's so much setup potential once again from both of these teams. Ranged advantages once again being seen on either end, but I'm curious, most importantly, about this mid lane matchup, the Orianna into the Azir.
Yeah, so this Orianna is actually the one lane, I think, where they got a pure counter pick in terms of draft order for the side of order, right? They see the Azir as a first pick with the Senna. They say, we're going to play Orianna into it. And now the the interesting thing about that is Orianna is not a strict counter to Azir by any means. They are both just going to be control mages in mid lane. Azir often has the early laning phase priority as well, pretty much guaranteed, until Orianna gets like a tier or a lost chapter and about level 9. So they've got the counter pick here. Legacy have a lot of priority, however, from it. They've countered the jungle role picking that second Legacy. They've countered the top lane role picking the Aatrox last as well. And they've picked the Senna Lux into the Caitlyn again, who doesn't even have a Morgana spell shield. Legacy have had free run of this draft phase to draft whatever they would like.
And let's see if that draft is enough to give them that game number 2 victory. Welcome to the finals, Halo. That man on your screen right there. What can he do on his biggest occasion today? Going to play the Azir in the mid lane, going to show us what he can do on a new champion for a new team. But we know that Harry loves to play the Orianna. His most played during these playoffs. And his shockwaves, I mean, it's guaranteed to hit at least 3 people every single time.
Yeah, looking at all of the melee champions there, though, it is quite limiting to be able to hit that many. Looking at Order's composition in general, though, we did just spend a decent amount of time highlighting Legacy's draft pick order. I mean, it's a fantastic front to back, right? It's exactly what you want to see from them. Ayla has agency on this Nautilus. He can be the engage tool. Rare, while he didn't have the best Game 1 performance, I think we all can acknowledge that, is still on the Caitlyn. And in a much more controlled environment, will still have a very big threat on this Caitlyn pick. Solo carried some games last time we saw him as well in the playoffs in a Game 4 to give Order the 3-1 victory. Lilia for only as well. You would expect Into the Jarvan to be an absolute raptor goblin and just be able to get a lead through that jungle role and start to influence the lanes. And then you've got Hayri in that matchup we spoke about. May not have priority, but will have a good time and scale up to those team fights and hit those shockwaves that you highlight.
That's all he can do. He's done it before, and no doubt he'll be looking to try and do it again. Try to get into the mentality here of Halo, whether or not that's a part of the map that only might be looking to try and target right now, trying to find a slight mental advantage to bridge themselves back into the series. Obviously, very early days into a best of 5, but it's never nice to start off a series 2-0. The reverse sweep, we've seen them happen before. That level of composure at a critical moment like this, where you are chasing that opportunity to go to Worlds, means such a big deal for players coming out of a minor region. It's the biggest opportunity for them to prove themselves, to make a career for themselves, but to showcase that, you know, there is talent beyond the landscape of the major regions themselves.
And think of it this way, Mammoth won the OPL titles last year, and 4 out of those 5 players went internationally to represent the Oceanic region in other regions. I mean, what more could you possibly want, right? Babip, the only person who actually stuck around, is once again in the finals, stamping his markers. One of the best junglers that Oceania has had. And is doing so in more of the role player and facilitative types of role. So, I mean, credit to Babip, has done a lot of good work 2 years consecutively right now. And is once again poised to be able to threaten for that title.
Certainly is, and I want to touch on the fact that now taking a quick check of the runes, he's actually gone for the phase rush here. Obviously seen such a big focus on junglers in general, just to get as much movement speed as possible, to make ganks happen, to ensure that they have as much uptime as possible, but it's not a common rune choice we'd see for a Jarvan here.
No, it's not. One thing that would be, I guess, interesting for why you would have the phase rush is when you're up against a lot of movement speed based champions. So things like the Orianna with phase rush, like the Lilia, who notoriously both go phase rush themselves. It'll help your sticking power, especially because you're not going to be going a Black Cleave or any type of movement speed based items in your build. So if you're looking to skirmish, if you're looking to trade, 2v2s may be an option here for them as well. Then he'll be able to get extra auto attacks off as they match their phase rush timings. And that could be very important for winning those skirmishes.
Certainly could be, as the Armor Shred will do wonders once again for the double AD setup, you'd have to say, between the Azir and the Senna. We saw how strong the spot lane was in game number 1 for Legacy, just those 2 alone. But the pieces of the puzzle were completed as it almost looked like a bit of an anime fight there, quite honestly. I suppose it's probably the most accurate way to describe it here, Rusty, where just a series of ultimates, lasers and pixels just descended on one point of the map. And whoever really stayed in that path, they had no chance to outplay.
It was the power-up arc of the story. Perhaps the redemption arc exists for Order, but it's yet to be seen. However, I will say 4 minutes into this second game, there was no level 1 craziness. There was no crazy invades. There was no double vision denial. Babbitt clears some wards with his sweeper at level 3, but is also going to be spotted and matched by the Lilia running around the rift, pretty much even in jungle CS. Bot lane hasn't got kills at level 1. They do seem to be much more steady in their control of Summoner's Rift thus far, and you can see that they've been able to at least push the bottom wave in. Not to any kind of strict advantages by any means. It does look like Raze and Isles will be able to retain control and superiority in their 2v2, but things much more in control in general here for Order.
Certainly is, and touching on that bot lane exchange from what we just saw there, obviously timing is very crucial because the ability to negate so much of it, not only between Lux's own innate shield, but through her Guardian choice too, makes it so that Ayla no doubt will be keeping a keen eye as to what windows of opportunity present themselves for how we can exploit that. And if you are playing along at home, looking to try and enter yourself into that Kraken treasure competition, well, that's another clue for you to keep your eyes on, so continue to note these ones down. If you are watching on YouTube, then you can always rewind that VOD and catch up and write down once again what you've missed so far. And pretty cool goodies up for grabs there, Rusty.
Yeah, boatload of stuff that I believe the Kraken has taken away, or at least that's what they said. Right now, we're looking towards top lane. You've got your Kindle Gem for top earn, so not going for any kind of early AD. Wave also building to crash under his turret. He needs to respect if they don't know where that Lilia is, as he has just reset off the map. But it also, as you can see, has Legacy on the bottom side of the map doing this Drake. So as long as top earn respects and plays League of Legends out, knowing where the Lilia is, then things will be all right here for Legacy, as they continue to have objective control.
Then they most certainly do. Much more keen to go for those objectives, it has to be said here. They've had very good timing as to when they go for it, what it represents, and what they're able to achieve. They can find some good discipline on these heralds again. Could be quite an exciting matchup here. That's going to be Lilia rocking up to the party and saying, well, I've got full HP, but you don't. And that's your flash gone. That means that your level 6 all-in with a Cataclysm isn't going to be as strong as it would have been otherwise.
Yeah, great punish for the greediness there of Babbitt. You know, one more camp before I reset. Usually the name of the game here for a lot of junglers. Only knows the Drake has been taken. That global announcement and immediately goes into the enemy jungle, catches a low health Jarvan, and now that flash is gone, it means that the the flag drag flash combo also not going to be available. So summoner spill advantage there for Order, a pretty significant deal, and just general experience for Only as well going to start to add up here as he is one camp away, even like a little chicken away on the Raptor camp from 6.
Bit of protein, boost himself up, make him stronger. No doubt, obviously, when the Runic Echoes comes through as well. Things become terrifying, not only from the camp clear speeds, but from the damage output as well. We've seen how strong a Lilia can be if given the uptime to prance around and continue to exert that passive damage, the swirl of the HP shreds. Not going to see major differences between the gold just yet. We're going to see a slight advantage found here by Only, the one we were talking about just moments prior, but outside of that, we are dead even.
Yeah, you got 600 gold in top lane as a difference, but you'd expect with the wave that is crashing, that will equalize a decent amount right now. However, top lane with that freedom is not going to be taking a reset himself. They are in fact going to steal away the blue buff. So working with his team, and another thing here is he may be giving this one over to Halo, as it does look like that's going to be the case. And this time they do successfully give the blue buff, by the way. Improvements on game number 1 for Legacy. Tally unfortunately missed that one. Right now, it actually is a pretty big deal here that Halo's gone even in the game state. Last time we saw Halo, he was notoriously susceptible to ganks. Not happening here.
Certainly isn't, and you have to say, a lot of hard work behind the scenes, you'd imagine, from not only scrims, but forming an identity as to, well, we've got these 2 mid laners. They have very different styles, but can have a bit of a crossover in particular roles. We do see that Tally is no stranger to the carries if he wants to go to likes of a Victor or a Ziggs. Definitely have different champion pools to utilize here, and it could be a surprise factor they'll use to their advantage to take down Order, as they're the ones that lead the series so far, and already in a nice little spot to start off game number 2 as well.
Yeah, Ayla has actually moved his way up to mid lane, while the rest of Order have transitioned from mid up towards the Rift Herald. Eyes towards Babip, as it seems like he's not going to be contesting that one whatsoever. And Order will be able to pick themselves up the objective trade, and with the gold being dead even, the opportunity cost there now to be able to break some turret plates and get some gold in their hands is very much evident. So Isles not going to be hitting the same bindings in game number 1. He doesn't have magnet hands right now. Still going to be warming up into this one.
Feeling a lot more calm, cool and composed now is this game 2, not wanting to take too many risks that could snowball out of control big time.
That ward behind Legacy, if they don't clear that, is a potential teleport risk. Someone like Hayri off his reset right now, as he will most likely be able to get himself a lost chapter, or he's going to stay for one more wave. So never mind. The ward will be spotted. Always little risks like that, you know?
Yeah,
You
you
leave
can see
open an
Ayla.
opportunity for a teleport and it could be all over.
Ayla was very keen to make that a reality. He was posturing rather aggressively. No doubt they would have wanted to take only down to this part of the map as well. Find that kill, open up the lane, then push with the Herald to get a lot of gold injected into this Caitlyn. And at the best start to this series. But we do know that Rare is a profound Caitlyn player. I mean, just throw it back to their last game against the Chiefs when they were down so much for the entire game. But he himself was so far ahead that he could stand and deliver. There's the binding that connects. There's the center root. And there's the ultimate as both collide. Here comes Babbitt. But by the time he went in, the Caliber net had already disengaged him too far away.
It was really hard to read what Babbitt was doing there. I feel like he must have flag dragged onto a Caitlyn trap because he just stood still for quite some time after the blinding had connected. But Isles, early flash Q does make it work. You can still see the combo that is available for the side of Legacy. Just not nearly enough follow through to get the kill. However, a flash trade is something that you will happily take if Jarvan is going to be playing to your side of the map.
Both junglers continue to invest in this part of the map as Only is now here once again for the second time in a row now. They know that the dragon is soon to spawn up in 10 seconds to be precise. So try and get some turret plates here. Try and keep Legacy occupied. Try and make sure that this Caitlyn becomes as strong as possible. It's going to fall on down with only one plate remaining. Still plenty of time left on that one to contest. It'll be now up to Order to see if they can go for their first Drake.
Yeah, so with no mana for Raze, it's not likely that he would stick around. Very much a mana-reliant champion, but you can see that he has the biscuits. So honestly, Legacy could consider fighting this one. Teleports are coming in. It's going to be a late TP, though.
Very late TP. They tried to go for a smite still. That was Babbitt at the line right now. He's got the flash. He's going to use this. Shockwave onto one. That's going to be one member getting knocked up and one member getting taken down. It will be Raze, the first blood going away of Order so far, but they don't stop at that. No, they want a double kill, and they'll find it as Tapoon will be the next casualty. A dragon and a double kill.
And 11 minutes into this game, Skimmy Order find themselves with a 2,000 gold lead. They get the 2-0 trade there as well. They've not only had the team fight victory, had the objective victory, but they also have a wave crashing in a bottom lane, and the choice is theirs if they would like to take that turret. They are going to completely recall here, however, as I was wondering if that turret was going to be low enough to go down on a cannon wave, but it seems like they're just going to deny some further minions. Big item spikes come across in night and day right now between game 1 and 2.
Certainly are, definitely a bigger tune here of making sure that the Caitlyn actually can do something in this early game, can be a nuisance, can't be deleted, but can actually output damage to prevent the ability for you to be far more active than she can be right now.
I feel like at this point, we don't need to remind anyone that there's an emoji game because there's just a sheep on our screens.
What is worth noting is there are more sheep in New Zealand than humans, so that's a little fun fact for you.
And there's more sheep in Australia than New Zealand.
That's true.
I don't know why we guys give you so much for it, but,
There you have it. Quarantine.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe that was throwing ourselves under the bus.
It may be. I mean, I'm sure Twitch chat can decipher that however they want to. But regardless, in this game, as it stands so far, it will be Order that show up to the fight, find a good fight, and find a lot of advantages. And it's interesting to see that Legacy wanted to contest it, given how low the Dragon was by the time that teleport came on through.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell if, I honestly couldn't tell if Legacy were really considering fighting that one, but perhaps just a lack of vision on how much HP the Drake had kind of opened them up to that late teleport and soft commit. But you could see the immediate response from Order, right? Swiper with no hesitation says we are taking this fight, and rightly so, because they are powerful right now. Even at this current moment, right, after that team fight victory, they go back and they have really significant item spikes in a lot of their lanes. The one place lagging behind is mid lane, but Swiper's got a full Sunfire cape. He's raring to go if there's skirmishes for multiple members. He can use his ult to get down river if necessary as well. And bot lane with the full Storm Razor purchase does a lot of damage.
Certainly does. Worth noting that there are level leads being found here between the three members of Order. They're going to utilize that to good advantages right now. He gets put to sleep. They're going to use the stopwatch. Is that enough? There's the trap. There's the flash. There's the heal. Isles is going to soak that one up, and what looked to be another nice kill has been denied.
They play as perfectly as they can, Skimmy, to be able to survive that engage. Nice stopwatch timing to save his life. But ultimately, just having the jungler down there means the turret will drop. They'll get the first turret of the game. It goes into the hands of this Caitlyn. And they're snowballing in all of the right places right now to come into this mid game with maximum power and really influence the state of this game, not just bow down to the strength of Legacy. So far, so much better.
We knew that bot lane would be an area of volatility. We knew that both the support players would want to flex their ability to showcase why they have been met with year-long rewards. And awards at that just as well, you know, Rookie of the Year actually, as well as the Radiant Medal too. These are very good plays in their own right, which really can dictate the outcome as to how that bot lane is looking so far. So those small margins, Raze once again showcasing the mechanics at the highest level.
We really are seeing right now the stylistic difference between both top laners of Legacy and Order. You know, you've got your 1-0 Swiper. He's up in top lane. He's got his full tank item spikes. It seems like lately as well he will rush Sunfire in every situation, regardless of even his champions. He's done it on the Cho'Gath as well. Against Topoon, who has 27 odd extra CS over him, has control of his laning phase, has been given a lot more jungle priority. Swiper.
Yep, going to pop that ultimate, makes himself unstoppable. Now going to turn around, hit the knockup. Babbitt takes
these.
one, he takes two, he takes all the turret shots. Nearly fell on down. Empress Divide comes out, acting as a deterrence, but the damage had already been done by that point.
And again, the Armored Titan. You cannot gank Swiper. The amount of times that we've seen someone try and take him down and ultimately just lose the dive attempt. You don't get that opportunity. Babbitt now with 0 HP, has to disengage, only can come onto the map and take whatever he wants. And it's little things like that, because Only is such a good jungler that you cannot afford to give him the slightest advantage. He will run away with that one. We saw the punish after the Drake take. That's 2 extra camps. That's an experience lead. We've seen that translate into the next Drake fight. And now once again we've seen a botch dive in bot lane. Only gets a further advantage, and he can run away with the whole map himself.
He certainly can, and he's already up by 20 CS. He's really putting this jungle on cooldown so far. Worth noting, though, that Babbitt, once he has returned to the space, if he decides to, which it's not looking like he will, as they're going to concede this next dragon, he will have this flash up and available. So the ability to try and lock somebody down and match their ability to disengage is going to be a little bit better now, and he'll need to try and find those kills if he's going to try and match and keep up with this Lillian.
Do they go for this? Order right now are going to be able to clear that mid wave, and if they wanted to, yeah, it looked like Legacy were considering the Rift Herald, but they're going to fully disengage from it. So again, Legacy looking for options, not being able to find anything that they're looking for. They give more space over the map to the side of Order, who will then be able to just hit the Rift Herald uncontested, as Babbitt is going to be in base with 0 HP, really struggling to have any activity on the map for something meaningful right now. They do have strong team fighting, Skibby. Orianna Shockwave, though.
Yep, Harry going to use that one, not only to push Halo back, but to trim the wave as well. And that completely interrupts it, as he can now go across to pick up more from the jungle itself and continue to become as strong as possible to keep ahead of the clock as it stands between both mid laners so far. Fast approaching the 200 CS mark. Definitely ensuring that they will have a ton of damage to make these mid-game fights that much easier for them to find. But that's 2 dragons now for Order, and that'll be the second Herald as well.
Yeah, much improved in terms of objective control here, specifically for the side of Order. It's also a level 11 spike here for Only, so the sleep duration on multiple members when that comes to team fights is now increased by 0.5 seconds to 2.5, which is utterly insane, by the way. And when these team fights start to come across, you've got your Caitlyn standing there and delivering, Orianna for the zoning shockwaves as well. You've got Swiper and Ayla standing in front, and Only flanking. And we've seen what a Lilia can do if they start to set themselves up for specifically objective-based team fighting. If you're looking at the Drake, if you're looking at the Baron, you have to narrow yourself into corridors to get to these places. Suddenly Lilia puts you to sleep, and that's actually just left, right, good night on the team fight.
Certainly is. And it makes it so hard, especially when these players do not have Summoner Cleanse as their option. Going to be very much reliant then on a QSS for personal use or Mikhail's Crucible to be timed efficiently. We're not going to see that be an item that gets rushed anytime soon, however, as the supports have gone very different directions. One going for the Athenes, the other going for a Gargoyle's Stone Plate.
Very slow and controlled game so far, however, very much measured in a lot of the actions that we're taking here. With this Herald, we'll be able to break the mid lane outer turret, no doubt. And with that, all of the outer turrets close to being gone. Just the top lane one standing as Topoon in trouble.
He certainly is. Oh, unfortunately for him, fails to flash. Going to get put to sleep. And that will be lights out for him. That's going to be the second kill here. Found in the jungle for Order. And just like that, you see the power of Lilia.
Somehow able to dash ball asleep, but that's just Aatrox. Things nevertheless goes down, and Caitlyn being planted in mid lane is such a big threat for exactly what you just saw. 2 points in the ultimate, and he doesn't necessarily need to be at the play rare set. It just needs to be nearby, throw the Caitlyn ultimate out. And that's a ridiculous amount of bonus damage that goes into the mix there, and can actually mean the kill. Order, they'll break the mid lane turret, they then break top lane. That's all the out is suddenly gone at once. And with the next objective up in 1 minute and 45 seconds, they should be able to retain control of Summoner's Rift until such a time where Legacy can test them.
And a complete transfer, or change if you will, from game number 1, right? We saw Legacy be at the team to go for 3 turrets first of all. This time Order, proving once again how strong these heralds are and what they can sort of represent in terms of map control, in terms of gank potential. And the opportunity cost is paying off pretty good so far. Despite all things considered, it is still Tapoon in that top half of the map that finds himself in an individual matchup gold lead, but only continues to get further and further ahead, as is Rare, who's having a much better game too.
And he's having a field day with the minions at the moment. Really yet to see Hayri or Halo be active too much at all just yet. Now, we do know that Hayri's pop-off potential, particularly with team fights, like he can go bonkers. Halo, much more of that unknown quantity. We do know that he's very much proficient with those mages. And it wouldn't be too surprising to see his capabilities in team fights, but it's our first game seeing him in playoffs. It's our first game seeing him in a grand final as well. He's come in with the pressure of the rest of the roster already being able to win on their backs. Will he be able to step up and position properly in a team fight? Because he is staring down 2 tanks, someone that can put him to sleep as well. A single mistake will cost him his life. Has to play a very good Azir game to have a chance here.
Tapoon's going to need a good game as well. That's going to be the full combo used there by Ayla's Nautilus. But he's just going to be able to zone himself just far enough away. Don't face check this one. He doesn't have flash. That might mean he gets put to sleep. It certainly does. And with Swiper tanking a turret, it means nothing. But the question is now, was it worth it? Because just like that, Rusty, Legacy go for Baron.
Yeah, you look at Topu and you say, what on earth are you doing? But then you look at the Baron and you say, okay, this makes sense. He's buying time for his team. And suddenly, Baron is given over to Legacy. What can Order get in response? Maybe they get the bot lane inner, mid lane inner as well. 300 gold worth does still go over to the side of Order. But that Baron win condition doesn't exist. Nice little play there from Legacy. Cheeky moves.
Certainly is a cheeky move, and what the questionable at first glance there from Tapoon suddenly unwraps into something so much more. And what Order were looking for would have been the trifecta, a successful gank into a potential soul point condition, and then the Baron to ensure that they continue this sieging pressure. 5 turrets to 1, they've taken down another 2. That is the trade cost for this Baron. Now we'll get to see if Legacy can try and even out this gold difference, which continues to be 3k against them.
Babbitt about to find Rare here as well.
Certainly is. He's going to use that Summoner Heal very early on. There's the Cataclysm, and there is the knockback away. As Race, well,
Okay.
you're gone. That's the ultimate Dawning Shadow. He just cast a Shadow on this game right now. There's a stopwatch. There's a combo. You're knocked up. You're hoping that you can run away from this one. But that's the first time that the mid laners have got into this action. And there's the second time as there's a 2-man Shockwave. No follow-up. And Harry can only do so much.
And Hayri's Shockwave there, I think basically is just going to be damage to try and entice the disengage from Legacy. But again, they've got the heal coming out of center. They can stick around if they would like. Legacy are just insane, man. The damage calculations from Raze, knowing that if he gets a flash auto attack off, he'll have enough damage to kill with the ultimate. I mean, that's supreme confidence coming out of Legacy. Suddenly with the Baron they had, when your first question to ask is the Baron worth it? Maybe it actually is now. As they're looking towards kills, they're looking towards turrets, they're really forging themselves some gold back in their favor. And they've all but equalized the game state from just that alone.
Yeah, they certainly have. And as you said, right, the Orianna ultimate used to try and push them back. Well, Legacy didn't do the exact same in the mid lane. They unfortunately aren't able to take down that first turret in the mid lane. They respond with a ton of damage to at least try and zone them away. That Baron buff will have a few moments left for them to utilize. But it has meant that that gold lead won't escape them just yet anyway.
So here's what matters, really, in this game. You've got 45 seconds, roughly, between the Cloud Soul spawning and the Baron being available. So in terms of where you're going to be placing your vision, it is actually going to be mostly around the Dragon side of the map if you prioritize contesting that one. Now, if you look at what matters with that Cloud Soul. Ultimate cooldown reduction and the movement speed when you press ult. It's going to be important for someone like Lilia, 100%. Sion, not really at all, right? Because he's going to press R and goes at a set movement speed. So I don't think Swiper cares about having that movement speed advantage, as there's a cow and a balloon on my screen.
Okay.
Hayri will probably value that quite a lot. Phase Rush with that Cloud Soul movement speed is going to be really impossible to kill him, actually, if he gets a rotation of spells off. But the rest of the team, not so much, right? What is important is 3 Cloud Drakes for 30% reduced ultimate cooldown. Because that's a Sion, an Orianna, a Nautilus, and a Lilia that are all just going to relish in that fact. Just using those ultimates constantly.
Oh, certainly. I mean, the pick potential skyrockets as a result. Your ability just to run rampant around this map and just look for opportunities and just throw it out and hope for the best. You know, on such a low cooldown, opportunities like that are far easier to find, far easier to force as a result. You can try and get a summoner advantage as a result of that one, where you just set yourself up for even more success. Interesting to see now what Legacy will use to continue the pressure, continue the momentum to get back into this game. 90 seconds and a potential soul point, as you highlight, to play for. As we did see that Isles only moments prior was successful in stealing away the blue.
And this is where you go bowling. Oh, flash engage.
There's the flash engage, and just like that, Halo is gone. Empress Divide, it's just not enough. He had the flash, but he decides not to use it. Now potential second pick as they find Tapoon. He's going to get put to sleep. It's going to be Babbitt that flashes away. That might just be the solo kill with Swiper acting as spectator. No, he'll hit him once, he'll hit him twice, and now Tapoon, well, he tried to go for the great chase. But with a matched flash, makes light work of it.
For what it's worth, Legacy will be able to respawn in time for the Dragon, and of course for the Baron. And it doesn't look like Order are going to be able to siege anytime soon, even though 2 people are dead. They'll be looking for the top lane in a turret, and they're going to plant Sion down in bot lane as well to threaten that inhibitor. But it does mean, realistically, that there's going to be no setup time here for Legacy. There's no teleport for Tapoon as well. So it is just probably going to be a Drake taken here with very little contest. Legacy are going to be, generally quite content with their scaling still, however. I don't think they're going to be hard-pressed to say this is where we draw the line at a Cloud Soul. Baron more than anything else, and they're well and truly up in time for that.
Certainly are. As you can see here, Raze soon to approach 60 stacks on his passive. The range, the damage, the critical chance, and a chance to get a little bit of lifesteal as well. Obviously meaning that a Senna can become so strong in the later phases to match the range and damage output that a Caitlyn brings to the table. Interesting to see how that pans on out. As it might now be here, Rusty, that the Legacy team want to contest this one.
Yeah, they definitely look like they want to fight this one. We'll see how it goes against the Lilia. However, remember, she just throws those swirl seeds down river rather, and just hunts, just goes fishing. Legacy have said, we're not contesting that Drake. What we're actually doing is looking for that mid lane priority. And the question is, can Order engage from this position, as they very clearly have a flank?
They've set themselves up with an Azir turret in the mid lane right now. That's Babbitt jumping in with the EQ, going to zone himself away. Look at Tapoon on the flank right now, looking for an opportunity to try and take somebody out of the fight very early on. They're stacked up, and Tapoon can look for that knock-up. He's going to dash away. They've flipped the map state right now. That'll be a second turret found here by Legacy, as here comes Sion, knocks up 2. Can they find the follow-up? The shockwave won't be there just yet. And now they're trying to pick these members apart one by one. That's going to be a Cataclysm onto one member. It's going to be Swiper locked in place. Arrow, ultimate, damage, delete. He's gone. Swiper's at the fight. It's a 4v5. Cloud Soul or not, he can't run fast enough to evade death when it comes knocking on his front door. Now Legacy continue the aggression. They want to get themselves that turret! But just like that, Halo with the hook. And sweet dreams to Halo.
Halo, unfortunately, has found himself caught twice in a row. Legacy staring down the Order roster with limited HP available on the members there as well, but steps on a trap, Skimmy, and unfortunately takes an 800 damage crit straight to the noggin, and a follow-up there from Order is going to be enough to net them the kill. Legacy now sitting in a 4v5 situation. They are going to go over towards this Baron buff, however, as Halo, at the very least, with that Azir turret that he placed down, they play League of Legends in a dicey situation very well, to be able to break more turrets and get advantages. Will this Baron be done in time? It's very unlikely. They'll probably have to disengage.
Certainly do. Baron gets dropped down to 50%. Their damage output isn't the biggest between these members right now. Very reliant on Halo for his contribution. But a good little swirly seed reveals that they're on that play. And now they're going to prevent the full recall attempt. Babbitt, but a little bit greedy there with his attempt to try and disengage out so early on. He's going to pay the ultimate price. Smite won't survive. He will fall on down.
And nice pick here from Order. The fact that it's going to be a 4v5 and the smite is missing as well for the Baron buff means they should have pretty much no hesitation to kick this one off. Swiper may even consider teleporting in for this one if Legacy even get close to the area, just as a deterrent. But ultimately, he'd want to try and save that teleport if he can, as this does look like it's just going to be a free objective. And a smart recall coming out of him as well, unfortunately gets caught. He had the right idea. Order with complete control.
Complete control indeed. 4k gold lead. Baron buff, Cloud Soul. They've got pick potential, they've got mobility, and they've got rotations that found them kills just like that onto the Jarvan moments prior. This map is going to explode. They are now hunting for an inhibitor of their own. They want the minions to flood against them. They want Legacy to be locked in their base and really prevent the opportunity for Legacy to do what they've done multiple times this season, which is a late game fight where they 50 Fury something like an Elder or a Baron.
0-4-0 is the score of the top laner here for Legacy. Topoon having a tough go of it in this one. Has been picked on a little bit by Only and by the team composition of Order. And, you know, his position in the composition of Legacy is going to be very forward-facing. So the fact that he was behind means that that does get accentuated. But, I mean, with all of that in mind, this is still not the Topoon scoreline that you're used to seeing from him whatsoever. 0 kill involvement in this game.
He has been left to the wolves for the majority of this game, sat in the side lane, ganked multiple times, and unable to really contribute too much to these team fights so far. Yes, he's got the Death Stance. Yes, he's got the Black Cleave, and he can shred members low. It just feels like Swiper right now just offers a little bit more when it comes to these fights in terms of zone, in terms of CC, in terms of contribution.
Poised in mid lane though. 4-1 is going to be the lane assignments as they look towards sieging mid lane. We'll check in on how the wave's timing is here because Swiper's actually slowing down to make sure he gets that auto attack. Wave's going to be crashing earlier in mid lane. This does mean that Legacy may be able to step up and actually force the wave to be cleared, but they're afraid. You know, the Orianna Shockwave's just around the corner. Hook's on.
Hook is on. That's Babbitt caught out of position right now. He's going to use the EQ to safety. The first inhibitor will fall on down. That's been taken through the mid lane. Another way for them to target by crashing down bot side. The question is, though, will they go for the end? It's looking like it so far as their eyes are on the prize. They want to make it 1-1. They want to try and take down that Nexus turret. And they want to extract maximum value from this Baron buff.
Next wave arrives. If they were going to look towards the end, they will be hard forcing with this wave. Melee minions going to be crucial for it. And Rare's going to be hitting the opposite turret this time around because he feels much more safe. Cannon's about to take it as well. It's an exposed Nexus.
Nexus is exposed. Rare can just end this game on his own right now. There's not much they can do. There goes the Azir turret. Is it too little too late? So far it's looking like that is the case. Babbitt's going to jump on in. The Cataclysm is there. The Baron is being utilised to fantastic effect. Forget the fight. Just go for the end. That's what they do, Rusty. A game with very little kills. A game of a lot more composure and more macro shot-calling decision-making, but one that favours Order.
And in a situation where you're losing your base turrets, you're about to lose your Nexus. You ask the question of where do we draw the line and at what position do we say we have to fight, win or lose here? Legacy leave it far too late. They don't get that opportunity to look for the fight. They don't even force it in time, and a Scion Ultimate just comes through to make sure the Nexus goes down. I mean, a very much improved game here from Order overall. And we've seen what can happen if you give them any kind of advantages. That level 1 not existing in this game, and suddenly a controlled environment, a clean game of League of Legends coming out of the boys from Melbourne.
Most certainly was. It's now tied up this series 1 apiece. What looked like a very scary Legacy coming in with game number 1 has now been changed around completely. Slow down their tempo. Don't give in to the bloodthirsty nature that they were hunting and hoping for. They ran it back with the same bot lane composition. We saw glimpses of game 1 success. But ultimately, the pressure that was provided from the jungle position to start off with only on Lilia just exploded into this team fight domination. That's going to do it for game number 2. We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we return, it's game number 3.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win. NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
He's got it! This is deadly! He's got it!
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.